Hello guys, hope y'all having an awesome morning. So what we're going to do, hopefully I have enough painter's tape, because I'm going to show y'all how I create, Gino, stop it. I'm going to show y'all how I create the patterns that I had made using the painter's tape. So I will say, anytime that I'm doing this, for some reason, I instantly get nervous, because it's like when you're doing stuff and you're trying to talk, your brain is thinking. So a lot of times my words get caught up. Okay, so what I'm doing is taking a painter's tape and I'm putting it on this dress form, because I'm going to make a pattern, a new pattern, different from the ones that I have been making, okay? And I'm going to do one full side, and then when I get to the back, I'm going to do a partial, because, you know, everything is identical. Like, when you're doing this, everything is identical. So when you make a pattern, you'll see people just make a half of one. But I need this centerpiece for what I want to make. It's this corset bralette that I want to make. So that's what I want to make. So you just take the painter's tape and you put it on this dress form. And we're going to make a pattern for it. And then once you take it off of here, we put it to paper. So that's how I got the exact corset top. And when you're doing this, please remember to put your seam allowance in, because when you cut the pattern, it's going to get smaller. So remember to put that in, put it back. Because like when we put it on here, then when we cut it loose, you got to put it back. And I need a pen. I don't want to mark like I got a pen. And we do all our markings. So, I don't want to make this video so long, so I'm going to let y'all know what I'm going to do. So, I'm going to get all the tape put on this dress mannequin, and then I'll come back and we'll come with the next step. So, you just tape it and try to tape it as fine as if you can. And then we're going to transfer this pattern to paper, okay? And anytime where there's a curve, you just put a slit, because it's going to be hard to go around a breast. So, I will be back once I get all my tape on there, okay? Okay, guys, so I have my tape on here, okay? I have my tape on the mannequin, and what I had started doing a little bit is tracing out. So this dressmaking mannequin, it has all of your markings on it, so it kind of let you know where your princess seams at, where your, see, each one of these seams kind of let you know. And if the tape, if I had the black tape under here, it'll glide through the tape where you could see where to write at. So what I'm gonna do now is start tracing out each one of my seams, so you'll kind of know Did you really start cutting up right when I need you? Please don't. I think I'm gonna have to go find another pen. My pen cutting up. I'll be right back. Right when I need you. Okay. Hopefully this pen is good. So what I'm doing is tracing out all of my seams. Wow, I know. I was having a hard time. For some reason, want to write on this tape. And this is another ink pen. My line's getting crooked. Gino, cut it out. I'm working. I need something. Give me a line. You better not come in my video with that crap that you're doing. You better stay over there somewhere. I promise you. Try not to go over. Give me an even line. That ain't helping me. Okay. Okay. Here. Because this is important, because this is the line. This is the piece that I want. This is the piece that I want. But no, I'm not going to cut that. No. Okay, see? That's why you gotta... I don't want that. I got those already. See, I start tracing out the others. So know what you're going to cut. Because this is the shape that I want. I don't want the bra cup things, because I've been doing that for y'all a lot. I want this heart shape right here. These 3 panels. I don't want how like I've been doing. We want something different. So I want this shape right here. So that's why you got to remember what you're doing. And okay, so y'all see what shape I want. I want okay. So I don't want this. So we're going to get rid of this line. I don't want this line. This is going to be cut in one piece. Okay? That's going to be in one piece right there, okay? And then this is going to be my... Take your time when you're doing this piece. Some people be having a lot of pieces. I try my best. If I can help it, if I'm making my own pattern, I don't like a whole lot of pieces. I like to make my stuff simple. Right here is the true waistline. And if you can, don't really write on your mannequin. Use the tape. It's probably mine. That's my neighbor with my lottery tickets. Hold on, guys. Okay, guys, sorry about that. My neighbor, she picks up lottery tickets for me. So I knew it was her coming back. So a lot of times I don't be feeling like going. She'll go pick them up for me and bring them to me. She played today. She normally don't. She normally don't play the lottery. Okay. So y'all see these panels? So this would be like my, so I will always be, this will be my number 1 because it's my center. Number 2. And then we'll line this one out, number 3. And this one will be an easy one to do. But we got to get these curves right. Okay. So 1, I do my center as 1, 2, 3. Okay, so bring this on around. This the back, and you only got to do 1 back side. And some people like a V shape. So some people, if you want your thing to look all cute, you can do it in a V shape. V shape, 3. This would be 4. And this would be 5. Okay. So now that we got that, let me get some scissors. And then we'll transfer this to paper. We transfer it to paper. And it'll be all good. So let's see. Where's my paper? I got paper. But hold on, y'all. So I always take tape and put it across so you can have that. So when you cutting this, right? When you cutting this, I should cut it out and put it on paper and then come back. I don't like to be messing up. So yeah, you just cut it. And then we're going to transfer this to paper. And remember to go down and across. Down and across. Down and across. But I'm going to put this on paper. So you just then take it and you cut it out. And then we got to put our seam allowance back. And this will be your pattern. And it'll fit you like a glove. Sometimes you got to reshape it when you're cutting it. Oh, come on. Okay. Lay that down. I need to take some. Okay. Oh, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh. Come on, tape is sticking to the scissors. So just take your time though. And we're going to transfer this to paper. And when I transfer it to paper, got to put my seam allowance back. Sticking. I got to go get some paper. I'm going to go get paper. And then you just put it together back like a puzzle. And some people cut a lot of these. I be liking my stuff to be like boom, boom, boom. I don't be liking a whole lot. And I'm going to add my seam allowance back. And I'm going to show y'all kind of how I do that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go get my paper. And, yeah, so each piece will go fit right back in like a glove. What is this piece going to? Oh, right there. You see that? And go back like that. So yeah, you just pretty much cut it, and then you, okay, and we put it back together. So I'm gonna cut all my pieces, and then the next step, I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna put it on the paper and show y'all how to do the seam allowance. Okay, I'll be back. Okay guys, so now I transfer the patterns that we cut off the mannequin, and we transfer it to paper, because this is going to be our paper pattern. So now, before you cut this out, because we cut it loose, so when we put the tape, it wrapped around the mannequin. So we need to put a seam allowance back onto this pattern, because if you cut it just like that, when you go to try to fit it, it's going to be too small. Okay, so I'm going to use this ruler right here. And we're going to add a 1/2 inch seam allowance around this whole pattern, because when we sew this pattern, we don't want it to be too small. So you just go around with your ruler and you add a 1/2 inch seam allowance back to the pattern. And I'm sorry guys, I get so nervous when I be trying to show and tell. I am, despite what y'all think, I know a lot of people be thinking, because you know, maybe with my TikTok and stuff like that, like I'm really like a lit person. I am really a shy person, to tell y'all the honest God truth. Not a people person like that at all. So I'm just going around this pattern, and I'm adding that seam allowance back to this pattern. So when I cut it out, it's not going to wind up being too small. So I'm adding it back to the pattern. And I actually love doing it from, the mannequin, because it actually fits better and everything. So I'm gonna do 2, and I'm just adding it. I'm gonna show y'all. I'm just using this ruler. You put that seam allowance back. Okay, so let's cut. Y'all see what I'm talking about. And then you mark all your pieces and put them together. So I got a portfolio that I'll take, and like if you got a client that comes to you all the time, each time you make them some, save their measurements and save their pattern pieces, because you could just do the slight little alterations and you'll go from there. Okay, so y'all see that I added a seam allowance back to the pattern. So this is this piece that goes over in the corner. Okay, this is the one piece. So this is, so when you cutting this, to put this together so you'll know how many to cut. You'll need to cut 2 of these because you got diagonal sides. So if you're using the same pattern for the lining, you'll cut 4. So yes, I really enjoy making these clothes. So when I went to the fabric store, I spent about $80 in there. So that's the key of when you're getting fabric kind of, and you look for discount stuff. So I make a little mistakes, but that's going to make me better. If I'm afraid to make mistakes and try something that's probably not going to work, then I'm not going to be a good designer. You got to mess up to learn. You know, you really have to, you know. Okay, so this is that centerpiece, okay? So you will cut 2 of these. I want to make sure I got that. I want to make sure this is perfect. So I line it up. And I want this to be even because I don't want it one side to be bigger or one side to be, okay? So this is that centerpiece. You'll cut 2. And when you're putting this together, you put it together just like a puzzle. It's going to go back together just like this. Okay? I got to put the same allowance on the other one. So this will be how you'll make those patterns. And then you mark them. You mark them. So this is my centerpiece. This is the side piece. And normally when you do it, people do a set of 1. So I wind up got 2 of these sides because I just wanted to show y'all. But you'll do a set of 1. Yeah. So when you cut, and you'll do a set of 1. You don't need actually 2, but I just wanted to kind of show y'all how it will go, and you'll know how the pieces line up. And then when you go to sewing it back together, it sews like this, and then it, you know, it'll go back on that mannequin. So we're going to cut this, and then I'm going to go and pin it on the mannequin and show y'all how it works out. And oh, when you're doing the back, do your front from the back, because I want you to, I don't want y'all to do the back, right? And if you didn't mark your top from the bottom, when you get to that, you probably won't know what's your top, what's your bottom. So I need you to mark it. And you'll know which piece is which piece, and you know what size. So this mannequin is my size, so you'll know the size and all that. All that's important. So if you wanted to reutilize this, and I will say with something like this, Less Than a Woman is real busty. You could kind of get away with reusing this pattern because a corset has that lace-up backing. But just take her measurements, and you might have to make more panels for the back. But the sweetheart part shouldn't change much if she's an average. Now, if she's like a triple D or something, no. Nope, nope, nope. Okay. So I'm putting the seam allowance back on the pattern because when I cut it out, there's no seam allowance on here. And again, like I explained to you guys, when you marking it, you need to know your top from your bottom so you don't get it backwards. And which side go where. So when it go back on there, when it go back on the dress mannequin, it should go just like a puzzle. And all of these rulers and stuff like that you can get off Amazon. Put in dressmaking rulers. So they all come off Amazon. You can get all dressmaking shears, just everything. And Amazon is like, I would say, my go-to place. Because they have a lot of stuff. And they have it at wholesale prices, you know. You can get it and get a good deal. You can get 3 pair of shears for like $20 and stuff like that. So I do my notches. So I'm knowing what goes where. Okay. So you make your own identifying markings when you doing your pattern for yourself. Okay, so these is the back pieces. So some people have a lot more, so some people probably are cut way more than this. So I like to have very little, so I'm gonna pin this back on the mannequin and let y'all see. Stay tuned. Oh, this is what you will wind up having when you have your pattern. So I pinned it back on here. So you see that? And I added the seam allowance, so all the brown, that's the seam allowance, because when you sew this, it's going to get smaller. So always add your 1/2 inch seam allowance back to your pattern, because if you don't, it's going to wind up being too small. So y'all probably say, this dress is kind of going to be like a lot of the other dresses that you have with the sweetheart and different stuff like that. It's a little different, because this centerpiece right here, let me show y'all, it's one piece. So it's going to be different. It's not like the other one. The other sweetheart that I be cutting, it have a seam going down the middle, and it has that lace in between. This one is not going to have that. So this is going to be see, that's going to be the centerpiece. It don't have the lace how I don't normally do down the middle. It's going to have this nice piece of the seam. It's not going to be like the other. So it is different. It's not the same. So, but this is how I learned how to get the perfect corset top, the perfect, again, go to Sure Fit Mannequins. And you need to start off with a mannequin that's your chest size and waist size. And you can draft right off of the mannequin. So say, for instance, if you get one that's not, you can also pad it. You can pad it to make it your size. So that's how you would make these pattern pieces. And see, I didn't cut them into a whole bunch of pieces. I try to make my sewing simple. I got 1, 2, 3, my pieces. I don't like all them pieces. 4. And oh, make sure when you do this, it's number 5. Make sure you put top and bottom, because they'll look, you probably get them confused. So you got to know your top from the bottom when you get to the back of your corset, okay? Know your top from the bottom, because sometimes when you take these pieces and you cut them, you're like, oh God, which piece is this? How do it go? And then this is, well, the way this one is made, because the way I cut it, this is where your lace-ups will go, or your studs or whatever will go. So it's kind of obvious with the back, because I cut it at a slant, that this is the corner piece. But this is number one. Number one. Number two. Number three. Number four. Number five. 5 pieces. Okay? 5 pieces is what I needed. So some people, they cut, because they got all these pieces. So they'll cut 1, 2, 3. They'll cut a piece right, 4, 5, 6. And then depending on if the person is bigger, they'll cut. And they have to cut more. So 4 pieces, and you keep this and you put it somewhere where when it comes time to look for, you'll know exactly where it's at, and you'll know what to cut. So remember, when you're cutting this, you're cutting your lining and you're cutting, well, if you're using the same fabric. So when I cut this one, if I'm not using the lining, this one is cut open out just like this. So this will be 1. This will always be 2. You're always cutting 2 because you got your 2 sides. So this is 1 piece. So when you cut this 2 sides. And I just, duplicated that. So when you're cutting that, you're cutting 2, and you're cutting that 2. So when you're cutting your pieces, so don't be afraid. Take your time. Always put your seam allowance in. When you do your measurements, always do your measurements. But if your waist is 30 inches, don't cut your pattern, especially being non-spandex at 30 inches, because you're not going to be able to fit it. And then you got to keep in consideration for a zipper. So my waist is 30 inches. And then I like to fold that over to have that clean edge, especially when you're using material that'll fray. So I will cut mine's about 34, because that's giving me the wiggle room in the back. Once I get to the back, the zipper and stuff like that, I'm never going to cut it. And plus the seam allowance needs to be on your skirt as well. I'm never going to cut my stuff to be exact. Never going to cut it to be exact. So I hope that this helped you. This is how I make my pattern pieces and come up with it. So these is the pieces that we need, and this is a different shape from the shape that y'all been seeing me do. This one gonna be a little different, okay? This is a little different. All right, guys, thanks for watching.